everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of Baseball FM. As always, I am Frank, joined by your boy, Max. Max, we have a lot to discuss in the last week of baseball. There are some ups, there's some downs, some teams falling off, some teams on the rise, teams maybe that are pretenders, teams perhaps even that are contenders. Some pretty juicy storylines, if you ask me. An almost brawl, full on brawl. We got some contracts, we got some prospects. I don't even know where to start, Max, but Max, how about we kick it off with a good old standings review? I think we've played enough games at this point. Some teams have played 12, some teams have played 10. There's a little bit of a mix here, but I think the sample size is large enough that we're starting to see some trends going different ways. But as a lot of people have said, if this was happening in the middle of the season, would you notice it as much as you do at the beginning of the season? I think there's some validity to that, but at the same time, without further ado, let's get in.
Let's do
AL
it.
East right now, at the time of recording, currently. So this is not including results that could potentially come through later, or you know, only results that have happened today or previously. We have the Yankees at the top at 8-2, Orioles at 6-6, Rays at 5-6, Blue Jays 5-7, and Red Sox 4-8. Max, what is your initial thoughts on the AL East as it's breaking down right now?
I'm not too shocked by it. I kind of expected the Yankees to get off to a hot start. They always kind of do. And then something happens, whether in the September months or
Mm,
wild card, ALDS, you name it. I'm not shocked by that, as we discussed in the last episode. Max Fried is looking great. Giancarlo is looking decent. Aaron Judge has hit a home run, so it looks like he's getting bounced back
yeah.
from a pretty slow start to the season. He's getting his groove back. Jazz Chisholm does not look good whatsoever. But the Yankees are looking pretty decent. Orioles. Pete Alonso's had a bit of struggles, but I do think that the Orioles have handled themselves pretty well so far. I think Adley Rushman looks to be somewhat back to what he was his rookie year and a few years ago, so he's looking pretty decent. As I said, the Rays don't count out the Rays out because they got a great manager in Kevin Cash. They got a bunch of good players on that team. Camaro comes to mind. They're finally back at the Trop after all those many days, 561 days, I believe. So good to see. Blue Jays have the worst luck against the Dodgers I have ever seen in my life. So there's some struggles there. I won't be too mean, but the Red Sox did win the series against the Brewers, so that's something for you. But there's still some stuff that we can
I'll
discuss about them if you would
I'll have
like.
some things to say when I get through my talking points here, but Yankees have been looking really good. I think notably the strength has been their pitching. Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, my fucking the Judas of Boston. Um, Bullpens looks great. Fernando Cruz, um, Bednar, amongst others. But I think ultimately the worrying thing for me is that they're doing, well, not worrying for if you're a Yankees fan, but they're doing a lot of their damage right now largely without Judge. I mean, Stanton is looking Stanton esque for the first time in a while, even though he can't open a bag of chips, he can certainly hit a homer. Ben Rice is everything that I think people hoped he would be after last year's sort of breakout, showing that he's just got that ability to pull the ball consistently to the short porch, and even outside of that, they're getting contributions from guys like Austin Wells and Jose Caballero, and it's Ahmed Rosario even yesterday had two home runs, four RBI, right? So they're just finding ways to do it even when the big names aren't necessarily doing it for them. They're going to get Garrett Cole back at some point. So, I mean, this could be a really, really good team, much to my chagrin, but we'll see. Orioles. So the Orioles are getting a lot of good offense, but not necessarily from, I think, where people thought it would come from. Pete Alonso struggled a bit, only hit one home run, hitting under 200 right now. But Taylor Ward has been just going absolutely nuclear for them. He's hitting like 370. He's got an OPS over 1200. I know it's small sample size, but still. Adley Rushman's looking like his usual self, but previous to all the injuries that he had in the last couple of years. Rays of at sight for sore eyes. We're seeing Shane McClanahan on the mound again for like the first time since 2022. Almost it feels like. Um, Junior Caminero is looking like a great player. We just saw some games at the Trop for the first time in a while. And I never thought I'd say this in my lifetime, but I kind of miss the Trop, honestly. It's sort of in the same way that you miss like a Domino's pizza when you graduate from college. It's like, oh, I can afford to go to, you know, some of the higher end pizza shops, but there's something about that greasy mess at Domino's that you kind of miss after a while, right? And
That's like me and Papa John's. I
well,
mean, yeah, I could
that's
get better
exactly right.
pizza,
Like you
but
kind
I
of get
mean, Papa John's DoorDash is $15. Good pizza, really good pizza that I like is like 25. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do Papa John's. They got that.
I don't think really good ever has been used to describe Tropicana, but
You miss it though.
yeah, Blue Jays are a little bit snake bit. I think largely, I think this is just sort of them trying to find their footing. Dylan Cease has looked really good this year so far. He looked really good against the Dodgers earlier today. The Blue Jays avoided the sweep there. Um, and of course, the Red Sox. Now, I'm not quite as filled with rage as I was at last recording, as we finally won a series. I will say this though, there are a lot of worrying signs here. There's a lot of things that I think Red Sox fans like myself knew could be problems this year, but we chose to ignore those things. One of them being the so-called run prevention unit that Craig Breslow has dubbed this horrible, horrible defense. I think the weird part being is Yoshida has actually looked like a better left fielder than Roman Anthony at points this year, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
I did.
No,
No,
you
I'm
did
kidding.
not, Max. And Trevor Story has been a stone cold liability at short. I think every Red Sox fan that's seen this year wants Marcelo Meyer to be the starting shortstop. The pitching outside of Crochet and Sonny Gray has just been appalling. Suarez has looked downright pedestrian. You might as well throw me up there for the money he's getting paid. I know this upsets you as your boy Ron Hare Suarez. Um,
Hey, hey now, I'm gonna have to interrupt you.
hmm,
As I said in the last episode, I will not tolerate any disrespect to Ranger Suarez. I will say this though, he wasn't doing this at all in Philly. I don't know what you're starting at. I don't know what your pitching coach is doing to him, but I blame him. I don't blame this anything on Ranger. Ranger never did this to me. It's sad he's doing it to you, but do not disrespect my boy like that. Philly
yeah,
until I ride.
I think largely the issue right now is that he's going through 3 innings doing well. And it's that fourth inning that's come back to bite him twice now. And I don't really know what can be done to solve that problem other than getting a better defense, which, short of moving Meyer to shortstop, I don't really know what else we can do. I mean, Rafaela has not looked like his usual superhuman self center field at this point. Other than Willier Abreu, I don't particularly think that anybody's covered themselves in glory in the outfield this year. And Abreu does that largely with his arm rather than his glove. And I think overall, there's some signs of life. 4-8 looks a hell of a lot better than 3-9, or even worse. But there's still some questions to be asked. So we'll just have to see what happens from
I
here.
will say this: are you concerned a little bit about Rowan Anthony? I feel like the Red Sox kind of have a leadership void. Last year, Bregman had it. I don't know if Story can do it. There's a
Outside of that, Max, let's move on to the AL Central. Currently, we have the Devil Magic Guardians at 8-5 in first place. Second place is the Twins at 5-6, but second place is the Twins. Third place is the Royals at 5-7. Fourth place Tigers 4-7. Sorry, Royals at 5-7 and Tigers at 4-7. And last is the White Sox at 4-8. Max, what's your spin on this division so far?
Well, right now, as we speak, I'm on MLB Big Inning right now. Shameless plug for MLB TV, but right now the Twins are kicking the Tigers' ass at 6-0. Framber Valdez has given up 6 earned runs. I think that's kind of what describes the Tigers right now because their pitching hasn't been horrible. Man, their offense has been slow. What's going on with Spencer Torkelson? What's going on with Javi Baez? What's going on with Riley Green? And what's going on with just the rest of this lineup that we're seeing right now with the Tigers? That's a
Yeah, I mean,
really big red
I
flag.
think it's never a great sign when the rookie is the lone spark of a rookie being Kevin McGonigal and second year guy like Colt Keith are like the only two bats that seem to be working right now. I mean, Dylan Dingler, you can also give him a pat on the back as well, but Riley Green, Torkelson, Torres, you know, none of these guys look particularly capable out there. I will say props to the Guardians. I mean, Gavin Williams, Joey Cantillo, um, even Slade. I always get his name. Kitchoni. I think it's Kitchoni.
Here,
Yeah. Um, Tyler Bybee. He's been okay this year. I mean, their bullpen's been great. Eric Sabrowski, guy that I picked up in a couple of deep fantasy leagues that I'm doing this year, has been excellent this year. I think this is sort of what we expected from the Guardians, and they're doing just enough to get to put wins on the board as they always do. But you know, anything else to add to the AL Central there, Max?
yeah, no, the Guardians been looking good. I think Stephen Kwan's been looking good. He's been, personal bias has been doing pretty decently for the Guardians. So I'm happy about that. Jose Ramirez is and correct me if I got this phrasing wrong, but he has the most games played of anybody in that Cleveland organization than anybody. Um, Again, I think just shows the value that he has. He should be an MVP in waiting. It's tough too with all the other great American League players that we see, but I think it just proves that the Guardians have themselves a pretty good team, and they're looking pretty dominant to start off. The White Sox, outside of Murakami, Sam Smith or Shane Smith, excuse me, just got sent down to the minors, from what we saw. So that's not promising for the White Sox when you have someone
It's
that
not
has such.
surprising though. I mean, he's been throwing absolute meatballs so far this year, but so is everybody else in the White Sox team. So
Yeah, no,
one
you're
guy
right
that I
about
am
that.
interested in pitching wise for them is Anthony Kay, who they brought back from the KBO, I believe. I'm interested to see how he does. But outside of that, it's a little bleak right now. Miguel Vargas, he's looked pretty solid. Chase Mydroth, former Red Sox prospect, who was dealt as part of the Crochet deal, he's been actually really good so far, hitting 357, I think, on the young season, and we'll see more from him. But American League West, Max, it's it's an interesting one. Rangers at the top at 7-5, Astros second 6-7, Angels third 6-7 as well, Mariners 4-9, and the Athletics 3-7. Now I don't know about you, Max, but Mariners starting off 4-9, Cal Raleigh looking pretty lost up there. Pitching hasn't looked amazing. Are there signs of regression in this Mariners team, or do you think this is just small sample size nonsense?
Small sample size. I will say this: it's a little concerning considering the season they had last year. But definitely, the pitching hasn't been awful. The pitching's been fine, in my opinion. It's really the offense, specifically not just Cal Riley, but Jay Naylor's looking ugly up there too. I don't know what Kyle Riley's been doing ever since the World Baseball Classic for the past few 3 or 4 weeks. He has been in a horrible slump. He almost hit a home run in Anaheim until our boy on the Angels robbed 3 home runs in one game, which was incredible. But other than that, not the Mariners kind of shocked me. The A's to an extent kind of shocked me. Now the A's are looking somewhat better right now. Tuning into the game right now. It's 2-2. Bottom of the fourth. Yankees on top, but Severino's not looking great. We knew that the pitching staff for the A's is not going to be very good. But I think when we take a look at the offense, it's really not been great. Besides Shea Langoliers, who's looking incredible, Nick Kurtz got off to a slow start, but he's looking a bit better now. He had a
Hey,
home run yesterday.
don't forget about Max Muncy in parentheses athletics version.
Oh
He's been
yeah,
playing really really good so far as well.
oh yeah, and the Astros. Besides that Sox season, I mean, not looking entirely great for the Astros. I will
They
say
just
this
play the
though.
Rockies. I mean, it
We'll
doesn't
get to
get any
them,
worse
but
than
yeah.
that. Doesn't get any worse than that.
Oh yeah. But no, the Rangers are looking decent. I think Degrom is looking pretty fine, despite the scratch injury. He was supposed to be pitching against the Phillies in his first start of the year. He got scratched to the day afterwards due to I think some neck pain. But I think he's handled himself well. This Rangers team is looking pretty decent so far. I like to see it, but I do still have potential for the A's. Like I said, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to have a they may not have like a 500 winning club, but I still think they'll do pretty decent. I think the path forward is that they have right now will lead to success, just not this year.
As you know, and listeners will know, I was very bullish on the A's, particularly their offense, and they have not covered me in glory thus far. Another thing about the Rangers I wanted to point out: Mackenzie Gore has been absolutely dealing for them recently. Today he went 5 innings, giving up 1 hit, 9 Ks. I think the one thing about Mackenzie Gore is he was liable to give up an untimely homer playing in the least homer friendly park in the Bigs in Texas. This could be a Cy Young year for Mackenzie Gore. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but this really could be like a top shelf starter that I think people knew the signs of. I mean, he was an all star last year, and he's been good at in stretches again for the Nationals. But it really could be the year where it all comes together for Mackenzie Gore, and he can be that top prospect that I think a lot of people projected him to be. But moving on to the National League, Max, look at the National League East. Your Philadelphia Phillies not looking so hot. Braves in first, 8-5. Mets in second, 7-5. Marlins in third, 6-5. Phillies in fourth, 6-6, and Nationals in last, 4-8. Not a whole lot of surprises as I'm looking at it right now. Um, Regardless of the fact that you're in fourth, you can argue whether that's deserved or not. I'll get my words in first because I know you're going to have to say a few things about the Phillies afterwards, but every single team except for the Nationals being 500 or better, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think this is sort of what people saw coming from this division this year. It was always going to be tough. The separation ultimately is 1.5 games between first and fourth. Nobody there is going to be out of it for long, if at all, this year. Marlins, I think a lot of people are starting to see what they are cooking. Um, I mean, Sandy Alcantara has looked downright excellent. He's given up 1 earned run in 3 starts, including a complete game shutout. Went 8 1/3 of 1 earned run ball last time. It was only because the bullpen coughed up an inherited runner. The Mets have looked streaky at times. Nolan McLean's looked really good. Bichette's starting to figure it out. Mark Vientos has looked excellent as well. He's been sort of an up and down guy for them, but there's certain guys that have been a little bit, slow to start the season. Brett Beatty, Francisco Lindor, but Soto's always going to be Soto, and ultimately, the way I look at it is, are they going to have enough pitching to make it through? Devin Williams as their closer is certainly going to help, but yeah, Braves going to Braves. Um, they have a really excellent lineup. Albies is looking good so far. So is Austin Riley. So is Matt Olson. Acuna's been a little slow, but I'm sure he's going to pick it up at some point. So, Max, I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on the landscape of the NL East. Notice I didn't say anything about the Phillies. I'll save that for you.
Well, first of all, take that jersey off. The disrespect that I don't. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the disrespect. Anyways, uh, okay. Braves, to their credit, have been looking all right. I mean, despite the fact that Acuna is off to a pretty slow start, and Chris Sale is looking like an old man yelling at his farm the way he, he kind of punched himself there,
Almost
kind of
missed a
showing
sweeper ball.
yeah, kind of showing a little bit of when Kershaw threw that ball on the ground all those years ago. Um, Mets are looking decent. Lindor started off a bit slow. Actually, Mets fans are booing him, but the Mets have been looking fine. No, McLean's looking pretty good, and I think all around the Mets have been fine. Bichette's been off to a slow start, and we'll see how he improves the rest of the year. In terms of the Nationals, I mean, hey, this is a fun team right now. Marlins are looking pretty great, as we discussed with Sandy Alcantara, looking great. Last night, he almost pitched a complete game shutout again, got taken out and they gave up a run. So there goes the shutout. But the Marlins been looking good, and let me discuss my Philadelphia Phillies. We are 500 right now. We are at Red Sox levels, which is not looking great in terms of the
Not
500.
quite. Not quite.
I will say this though. I knew we were going to lose that series in San Francisco. We never perform well in San Francisco. Yeah, it just looked pretty bad. I mean, the last we won 6-4, which I didn't expect to win that game. Painter looked a little rough, but we did not expect to win that game. Sanchez also looked a little rough, and the offense the past two games have just been absolutely sleeping, which is good for the Giants because they did need that win. Because the Giants went off to a pretty bad start. We'll get to them in a bit, specifically the whole Matt Chapman thing that seems to be going on. But yeah, this is a Phillies team that it's not looking great. But I still think they'll win that division. Taiwan Walker needs to get out of my fucking rotation since yesterday. I don't know what the fuck he's still doing there again. This is what gets me upset. This is what gets me upset about Taiwan Walker. He is a little league pitching coach. He throws you just lobs. It's like BP. Like we're at like a 200-foot fence, and like the coach is just like, all right, just lobs it in there, see how far you can hit it. That's what Taiwan Walker is. Christopher Sanchez didn't look great against the Giants. Again, I think that's kind of like we're kind of cursed in San Francisco. Um, uh, yeah, I was not happy about that. But then again, the Phillies have Arizona and Philly, and that's my personal Vietnam still with the Diamondbacks. And then it's the Cubs, and then it's the Braves, then it's the Cubs again, then the Braves, then the Giants. So it's just back to back to back with that schedule.
Yeah,
So we'll
you had
see how
three
they
no
do.
breaks there for you, but
Yeah, all gas, no breaks. Oh God, no one has it. Well, I would say no one has it worse, but I mean, we've seen your reaction to. I'm sorry to bring it all back, but to
we
your
are
guys right now.
exactly 2 games worse at the moment. Um, but we'll see. We're going to St. Louis in our next series, so we might be able to pick up a few games there. Moving on to the National League Central, though, I think the most interesting division in baseball. Reds at 8-3, Brewers 8-4. Two of those four at the hands of the Red Sox. Pirates third place 7-5. Whoa! Cardinals 7-5. Cubs 5-6. Now, I don't know. I don't think we're used to the Pirates having vibes that are good. But I would argue at the moment, outside of the fact that they are fielding like these guys have never heard of the game of baseball before, the vibes are pretty high. They just extended Connor Griffin, 9 years, $140 million. Max, what are your thoughts on the Pirates as a team and also the Connor Griffin contract right now?
Super smart for Connor Griffin. I actually got on my phone here. I had a what's it called now? Baseball Savant up. I mean, granted, it's only been so many games. He is hitting 167 right now, but my God, his running speed, his speed is insane. Like last night, I forget which play it was, but he ran from first to home in a matter of mere seconds. The way he runs the baseball is great. On his first major league hit, a double, that exit velocity was 113.2 miles per hour. That is just absolutely insane. He's handling himself well. I think the Pirates are finally making these smart decisions and smart investment in terms of extending Connor Griffin. He is the number one prospect in baseball right now. They were working on an extension with him in the spring, and now it's 9 year, $140 million, which is insane for a rookie. But considering the potential he has and the way that we've seen him play so far, has been well worth it. Loving to see that. Yeah, the Pirates' defense is not looking great, especially opening day. And it's happened a few times now with O'Neal Cruz. I don't know where you play him. It's clear he can't really feel the baseball very
I mean,
well.
they're a team of
I'm,
designated hitters at this point. Let's
they
be
are a team
honest.
of
Like they,
designated
they were
hitters.
constructed this way. This is what's going to end up happening.
Oh yeah. Let's just take. I want to take a look at a little bit on O'Neal Cruz's. If I could get him up, if I can type it right on Savant. But his offensive statistics aren't bad whatsoever. It's just the fact that he does not. He can't feel the baseball very well. He really
He
cannot.
is, how do I put this? He is the biggest waste of talent with how he's currently configured. And let me explain that. He is a guy that we've seen hit a ball 120 miles per hour, right? I think one of two people ever to do that alongside Giancarlo Stanton, if I'm not mistaken. It's clear that the power is there. It's also clear that he's got a modicum of defensive ability, but not as a center fielder, and he cannot get to the power consistently because pitchers know how to pitch to him. I mean, unless they make a stone cold mistake, he's either going to hit the ball into the ground or miss the ball altogether. And occasionally he'll run into a pitch, and that's the best you could hope from him, really.
Well, I will say this, with O'Neal Cruz, his statistics right now are not bad at all. I mean, he's hitting, I mean, it's only a small sample size, so he's hitting 292 with 4 home runs, one stolen base so far. He's got an OPS of 916. If you go to his Savant, his batting run value is among one of the best in the league. X slugging is one of the best in the league. His barrel percentage is one of the best in the league. He can hit the
K
ball pretty
percentage.
hard, and his bat speed is great.
What percentage is
His
his
whiff
K and what percentage is his whiff?
Percentage of his whiff is 1%. Percentage of his K is 17%. 15% is walking. So he's really good at batting. His outs above average in the fielding is among one of the worst in the
Second
league.
state, is what he
Like
has.
that is night and day. Like the man's focusing on hitting, which is great, but I would not trust him to
I
catch
I
a
just
routine
I
fly
just
ball
stick him in right
whatsoever.
field if I was the Pirates. Your right fielder cannot possibly be worse in center than Neil Cruz is right now.
Oh yeah,
I believe their right fielder is Ryan O'Hearn at the moment, whom another DH. They have Ozuna, formerly of the Braves. They have Spencer Horwitz. They have Brandon Lau. They have Joey Bart. They have Henry Davis. They have Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz, like we were mentioning, all of which who have been DHs for a significant part of their career. This is just a team full of designated hitters.
I agree. But a team not full of designated hitters who we discussed as well. Number one right now, the Reds on a 5 game winning streak right now,
Sal
currently
Stewart, by the
losing.
way, hit another home run tonight.
Dude, Sal Stewart,
He is
everything,
unbelievable. He,
almost
he's making me look like a
everything,
genius right now, genuinely, for picking him as a National League Rookie of the Year. Like,
every statistic with Sal Stewart, right? I almost said John Stewart, I don't know why, but Sal Stewart is looking really good, especially his hitting wise.
that baseball
Um,
savant page is bloody for him right now. It is
It's
getting red
bloody
hot.
red. We're all seeing red up here because his walk rate is among one of the best in the league. His K rate is at 82. Whiff rate is at 69. However, barrel percentage is among one of the best in the league. He is hitting 359 right now. The man has a 1.084 OPS. He's looking very, very good to start off the year. Tyler Stevenson is also someone who. Not off to a high start right now, but he's looking a bit better. However, and his exit velocity is looking great. Um, Matt McClain is also someone that we can discuss as well. A little bit, I mean, 238 is not bad. OPS 670 is not bad. But I think this Reds team is looking great. He's great on the base path, and he's really great at
I
fielding.
think
So I think overall,
Matt
this Reds team is
McLean
fun to watch.
Matt McLean's one of those guys that I think he's sort of like Acuna in the sense that he just needs to get his legs underneath him again. Considering he's missed so much time with injuries the last couple of years, he looked excellent in spring training. I think right now it's just a matter of time before he gets back to a good, at least a serviceable starter. Ellie De La Cruz, I think he's looked a little bit more human than I think some people hoped he would, but he's still a guy that could go 30-30 on you in a year. Batting average might not necessarily be where you want him to be, but he's a game changing talent for sure. Pitching has largely looked okay. I mean, Chase Burns looked pretty good in the season debut. Um, Still waiting on Nick Lodolo to come back from his issues with blisters, but that should be later this month. And I think there's reasons to be optimistic if you're a Reds fan. You're doing all this without Hunter Green. That's a major thing right now. And what could happen if you had a Hunter Green on this team could be a lot better. I think probably yeah. Andrew Abbott though he's looked solid this year. I think sneakily they have one of the better bullpens in the entire league, except for the fact that Emilio Pagan is still closing games for them, and I do not like Pagan. I'd rather see a Graham Ashcraft. I'd rather see a Zach Maxwell.
You got to see Angel Pagan.
Yeah. Man, I remember him. Oh, legends. But Cubs, they're I mean, Cade Horton, he's out for the year with Tommy John, unfortunately. Um, yeah, it hasn't quite gone to plan for the Cubs this year, but I don't think it's all been bad. I think Nico Horner's looked good. Alex Bregman has shown flashes of being a good player. He's been a little up and down, largely. Same with Matt Shaw. Yeah, what are you saying, Max?
I'm sorry, I was about to say PCA, he signed that big extension just a couple weeks ago. Offensive wise is not looking horrible, but it needs to go up a bit. Like for example, he's kind of in the average or blue when it comes to like X slugging. His average X velocity is looking great. Barrel contact or barrel percentage is all right. Hard hit ball is good. Bat speed is good, but it's just his chase rate and his walks are looking not so great, but he's still an incredible fielder. Outs above average, 96 on baseball savant, among one of the best in the league right now. His arm strength is great too. He's great on the base path. Once he gets that hitting, like we saw back in the first half of last year, man oh man, he's among one of the best in the leagues and honestly an MVP candidate.
Yeah. Last but not least, National League West. We got the Dodgers at 9-3, Diamondbacks at 6-6, Rockies at 6-6, Padres at 6-6, and Giants at 5-8. Now we could talk about the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are just going to Dodgers. Otani is he currently has the highest on base streak and I believe the highest scoreless streak, longest scoreless streak of any hitter and any pitcher in the league. He's just broken. Clearly, he's a my pro character from MLB The Show, and we're just living in his simulation. So we'll just put the Dodgers off to one side. I just want to make a small mention. Andy Pages has been just absurdly hot to start the year. And if the Dodgers are getting this sort of contribution from their 8 hitter, sometimes 9 hitter, I mean, whole league is fucked. Let's be honest here. The only thing that's slowing them down right now is injuries to their pitchers, but outside of that, I don't think there's any way to slow them down. But let's go to the other end of things here right now, Max. Let's look at the Giants, right? Because the vibes have been really oscillating for them recently. Tony Vitello, the first year manager hired right out of college from the Tennessee Volunteers, has admitted that they've had at least 3 clubhouse incidents in the last 10 days. I don't know
This
if
is
you
new for
saw
me.
this.
No,
Yeah,
what's
he
going
told
on?
reporters that there's been at least 3 incidents in the clubhouse in the last 10 days. I don't know what he's describing as an incident. I don't know the nature of them, but this does not seem to be a team that was good in, or at least in a good way, coming into this series. And then they just run you guys out of town, the Phillies. So I don't really know what to make of this team, if I'm honest. I mean, Devers has looked good at times. He still hasn't quite looked like Fenway or Rafael Devers, but pitching has been solid when needed, but Logan Webb has been a little off it. Daniel Suzak has come up and he's been great for them. That's been a fun story. But Arise has been good. Jung Hoo Lee hasn't. Willie Adames has been hitting for extra bases when he makes contact, but that's not as often as you'd like. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of this, but there's a lot of that with the Giants right now, and it's sort of I don't really know which direction they're headed in. Max, do you have any sort of insight on them, having watched them the last 5 days or 3 days, I should say?
Well, first of all, thank you for that little comment you made. I appreciate it. Thank you. One of the big things I didn't hear about the incident things. Are we talking about like an incident in Moneyball where Billy Bean Brad Pitt is like, "Oh, is losing fun," and he breaks Jeremy Giambi's speaker?
That's what
I
I'm
don't know
picturing
about.
right now.
That's what I'm. I don't know. Maybe Tony Vitello's. I don't know. Maybe he's hazing him just like he hazed those freshman players at Tennessee. But I got no clue what's going on with them. It's very strange. It's like kind of. I want to say it's like yin and yang. It's like there's some good vibes and there's not bad vibes. One guy I want to mention in particular is Matt Chapman, a man with veteran presence who has been an elite fielder. He has not been looking too elite right now, and I don't know if you saw this clip, but Matt Chapman went up to the Giants first baseman. He's like, "Catch the fucking ball," and it's like, "Buddy,
Which
you
missed.
threw a
Yeah.
horrible ball to the first baseman. Sometimes not all of them can catch him, but I don't know what's going on. It seems like you can't. I mean, it's too early to say, but maybe." You got to get some of these guys in check, and you got to have them respect the manager. I mean, really, that's just what I want to say about it. I don't know what you think about it, but do you think there's some problems with Tony Vitello? Do you think he has that quality to be a big league manager to get the team on the page and play good baseball?
I think with any rookie player, as with any rookie manager, there's going to be an adjustment period. And I think right now he's trying to figure out what about his messaging works and doesn't work on grown ass adults and not college players, right? I think they brought him in to sort of encourage a youth movement. I think they're looking at their farm system right now. The Giants have a few very intriguing names coming up through their farm system. I think they're looking to him to sort of manage that transition away from some of the older guard, like, letting Wilmer Flores depart in the offseason, sort of moves like that, maybe bringing in Bryce Eldridge to be your full time first baseman and moving Devers to more of a DH role, or vice versa, either or. Um, yeah, I think there's gonna be some teething problems, and I think ultimately, if you're looking at teething problems with a team that's been downright mediocre for the last few years, I think honestly you'll take a 5-8 record at this point, considering this is the first month of baseball for a brand new manager who has no experience in professional baseball. But we'll see. But Max, I think we should talk about the star of the show right now.
Oh, before we get to that, if you don't mind, I just want to say, with the NL West, Rockies fans, they have hope here at
Well, that's what I was
500.
gonna say. The star of the show, the
Oh
Rockies.
shit! Oh,
There's
that's
still
on
some
me. I
life.
spoiled. I spoiled it. My
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, we have life in Colorado. They have just swept the Houston Astros, their first sweep since 2022. I for one am overjoyed. I love to see the Rockies doing well. I think Coors is a fun place when the Rockies are competitive for the first time every decade or so. And you know what? I'm gonna say it, Max. I'm gonna say it. I don't care what the consequences are. This Rockies lineup is a good lineup. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to believe it, but I think it's a good lineup. Mickey Moniak, former Phillies #1 overall pick, Mickey Moniak, has been going absolutely nuclear for this Rockies team recently. I believe he has a homer in back-to-back days. He might have another one today, for all I know. Um, and I think T.J. Rumfield, it was I think a Rule 5 pickup from the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. He's looked excellent. Hunter Goodman hasn't been quite the same as he was last year, but he's a certified All-Star. Ezekiel Tovar is a Gold Glove fielder, and he'll give you a solid year's worth of at bats when needed. Troy Johnston, he's looked solid out of nowhere. Jordan Beck has looked downright awful. So is Brenton Doyle, but both those guys are capable of giving you some quality ABs when needed. I mean, you have a few other guys like Young Kiel Fernandez, um, Adel Amador, who both were top 100 prospects at different times who haven't quite seen much runway this year, but could definitely be contributors down the line. There's a lot to like from this team. Pitching, that's a different question altogether. I mean, Chase Dollander. I don't know if you've seen Chase Dollander's home road splits last year. He was elite away from Coors, and he had like a 9 ERA at Coors last year. So I don't quite know what to think of him, although he did pitch really well last night. Or 2 nights ago. I can't remember which one. It's a team with progress being made. I think is the best way to describe it. I think there's some players you can point to and say, you know what, I can squint and see a good player in there. And I think that's much better than you can say for the last few years of Rockies baseball. So I, for one, say good for you, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean TJ Rumfield. I mean he was drafted at number 12 by my team, the Phillies, and now he is. Again, I love going to Savant. It's fun to see. But anyways, with Savant, I mean fielding outs above average, one of the best in the league. His batting run value is among one of the best in the league. It's at 96 right now. We'll see if it stays. X slugging is 90. X batting average is 93. His sweet spot percentage is at 97%. When he hits the ball, he hits it really well. So the way that TJ Rumfield has just handled himself has been playing so far, he's just been nothing short of pretty fun. So I think they got a pretty fun squad in Colorado. I'm not gonna lie. You could have the '90s Braves pitching rotation, and they would still struggle in Coors Field. That's just the nature of Coors Field. So, uh,
It's about managing, and it's not about it's about managing and enduring. It's not about getting amazing results, unless you're Ubaldo Jimenez.
real goats remember Ubaldo Jimenez and the run he was on in 2010.
Legendary. Um, so I think unless you have anything more to add about the National League West, I think that probably wraps it up for the divisions. Let's talk about the Solaire situation, Max. Now, let me give you an update, as I understand it. Not about the event, but the aftermath. Both players were initially given a 7 game suspension. Both players being Jorge Soler and Reynaldo Lopez. Since then, the suspension for Lopez has been reduced to 5 games as of a few minutes ago, and that's where we stand right now. Now, the situation building up to it, Soler had been pitched in tight by Lopez all night. I believe he was hit by a pitch twice previous to the third time being thrown up and in. A ball that looked like it got away from Reynaldo Lopez, but Soler by that time was at wit's end. Charges the mound, tries to beat Reynaldo Lopez's ass. Lopez basically punching Soler with a baseball in his hand. and then gets tackled by Walt Weiss in the scrum that ensues. Soler being tackled, I should say. Um, Max, what do you make of this whole situation? And are you, for one, happy that we have bench clearing brawls again?
They make me live. I live for this. When I see him on TV, I just eat it up. Maybe it's the WWE
I was gonna say
fandom
the
in me.
WWE meets
But I love
WWE.
it. I love it. I wanted to see Joe Adele. I just wanted to see him give him an AA, give him a "You can't see me," just do all that fun stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, Joe Adele has actually been kind of dominating Lopez all this time, and I think Lopez has finally had enough, and he tries to hit Soler. I will say this. I mean, I feel like both of them kind of instigated the fight because Soler just stood there, right? Catcher backed off. Soler is just standing there, but you got Lopez kind of egging him on, and it seems like Lopez said, "Come at me," and then obviously they went fisticuffs. Why he was gonna hit Joe Adele straight in the face with a baseball is beyond me, but that was crazy. Their manager broke off the fight. Their manager, by the way, like when he was in the MLB, did Taekwondo and actually does know some MMA stuff. So this is the guy you do not want to mess with. But that fight was pretty crazy. I will say this though. This might be a hot take. I think Lopez should have had that 7 game suspension because he tried to hit Joe Adele with a fucking baseball,
Soler, you mean?
like fist. Yeah, with a fist. Yeah, Lopez tried to hit him Adele with a baseball to the face. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the suspension is a suspension, but I mean that was nuts to see. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. I saw it with like Harper when he's charged him out against Hunter Strickland 10 years ago. And throw the helmet at him. But I mean, really, with a baseball, trying to punch a guy, knock a guy out with a baseball, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. It it's one of those situations where I don't really know how you'd officiate that if I'm the MLB, but I think both players probably should have equal punishment. So it's kind of crazy to me that the Reynaldo Lopez one was reduced. But that being said, it essentially amounts to one turn in the rotation, regardless for him. So 5 versus 7. I mean, he's not going to be starting
Yeah.
twice in that span either way. So I think it's just one
What
turn.
about the almost? I thought we were gonna see a brawl with that
Yeah,
the Red Sox and Brewers with Contreras. Did you see what Contreras said after one of the games? Like, if they hit me, I'm gonna knock them out. Like,
yeah.
buddy,
I
whoa.
mean, I I understand where he's coming from. Partly in that Woodruff has hit him a lot in his career, like an inordinate amount of times. I'm not saying it's intentional, but if I was Contreras, I would certainly start asking questions. That being said, I think largely that boils down to him being a clubhouse leader for this Red Sox team that was just flat on its face for most of the season so far. He provided a spark in that moment. He got the team fired up for once. For one thing that they can get fired up about. And it only took them 4 series to get fired up about something, but fucking here
Slow
we
and
are.
steady wins the race every
Nelson
time.
Contreras, from everybody I've heard, is a great leader of men. It's only really a matter of time before something was going to galvanize this group, and if it had to be this, then I'm happy it was this. So that's sort of how I
Yeah.
feel about it. Now, Max, we're gonna do a new segment here called Baseball Savant Reactions. I'm gonna give you a series of players, and these picks essentially constitute my some players that I want to highlight here. But I'm gonna give you a handful of players who are off to blistering starts in the season, and I want to see your organic reaction to seeing these players. We're going to start off with Drake Baldwin, Max. So if you could pull up Drake Baldwin's baseball savant page here, and let me see your reaction.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy he's been going absolutely bonkers. He's hitting 321, 5 home runs, a 10-13 OPS. He is the truth. This man won Rookie of the Year in the National League this year. This guy's going to be a linchpin for a Braves team that until Acuna is right, really needs someone to take up the slack offensively. If Baldwin can be even close to this for the rest of the year, that's a scary lineup all of a sudden. And boy, oh boy, do I love a catcher who can rake. I don't know about you, Max, but Drake Baldwin, 97th percentile in X Woba, 96th percentile X batting average, X slugging 97th percentile, barrel 86th percentile, bat speed 93rd percentile, K percentage 87th, whiff rate 81st percentile. Even the walks in the chase, which are the low numbers on there, are mediocre and not quite bad. I think you take that every day if you're a Braves fan. Max, player number two, and you may have heard a thing or two about this guy, and he hit another home run tonight. The king that was promised, Jordan Walker. See, it feels like he's been in the league for a while, but he's only 23, and this is what he's done so far. He's one home run. He's one home run away from matching his total from last year. He's hitting 295, five homers, a 1036 on base percentage, 92nd percentile X batting average, 99th percentile X slugging, 100th percentile in average exit velocity, 97th percentile in barrel, hard hit percentage at 99, launch angle sweet spot 88, and bat speed 99th percentile. His K percentage and whiff percentage both at 32, and his walk at 48. This is an Aaron Judge baseball savant page. Not only that, he has 95th percentile sprint speed and 97th percentile arm value. He's still only 23 years old, mind you. It feels like he's been around for a long time because he debuted as a teenager. This could be the beginning of something, Max. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because he has been downright bad for a few years in the big leagues, and to the point where he's been sent to the AAA a couple of times since his debut. But this is not the kind of thing that you see by accident, right? This is a concerted effort to lift the ball with absurd batting or bat speed. If he can keep the chase rate, the whiff percentage, the K percentage at a manageable level, this guy could possibly be getting MVP votes by the end of the year. I don't want to speak hyper. I don't want to be hyperbolic about this, but that's how good of a talent we're talking about here. So I will be watching his career with great interest. Next one,
All right, Chancellor Palpatine, whatever you say.
yeah. Next one we got Colt Keith of the Detroit Tigers. Let's pull up his right here. Yeah, it's pretty solid, Max. It's pretty solid. What he's doing right now, 333 average, no home runs as of yet, but an 840 OPS. He's doing it in a very sustainable way. 94th percentile expected batting average, 97th percentile average exit velocity, 92nd percentile hard hit, 96th squared up, 94th percentile in chase percentage. Only whiffs in the 66th percentile, not too bad. Doesn't take a lot of walks, but the Ks are 42nd percentile. This looks like the makings of a very solid, very serviceable big leaguer. 24 years old. He's been playing for a few years now for the Tigers, but he's a much needed breath of fresh air in this lineup, considering the fact that they've been downright abysmal largely in a lot of places. He looks like a very good everyday big leaguer with those stats right now. And quite honestly, I like to see it. See these sort of post hype guys that are sort of coming back to life. Really big expectations put onto them, like Jordan Walker and Colt Keith, who were top prospects at the time of their debut, showing out after a couple of years of adjustment and really being able to provide a great number. Last guy I have for you here, Max, is someone that I don't think anybody was really talking about just because of where he's situated. And that's no knock on him, but when you're surrounded by superstars, it's hard to get your name recognized as a young up and comer. Andy Pajes, I mentioned him earlier, still hitting 413 with 3 homers, an 1112 OPS, 95th percentile expected batting average, 91st percentile expected slug. Now, there's a few ups and downs here, but hard hit percentage at a 90th percentile clip. And a lot of the soft statistics here are middling to average. K percentage 58%, chase 43rd. So, those are some hitters that I wanted to bring some attention to, Max. Do you have anybody else that you want to mention thus far?
As we were talking, Trey Turner's batting is depressing me. I am depressed. Thank you, Trey Turner. Your base running is still your base running is still great, and your fielding is still fantastic. But buddy, get in the cages,
Mm,
batting cages, for that. And no, I mean, not specifically. I was looking at Jordan Walker a bit earlier. I mean, he was looking great so far. Um, how about Ben Rice? A little bit. Ben Rice is looking great so far. I mean, he's hitting 344 with 3 home runs, 1.262 OPS. The man is in the 100 percentile in terms of hard hit percentage. His walk rate is looking fantastic. His chase rate is looking great. His barrel percentage is looking fantastic. X Woba is looking at 100 right there. So he's looking really good to start off the year. Ben Rice is. Um, and Jordan Alvarez looking like the Jordan Alvarez we know and love from the 2024
I don't love
season.
him.
Well, I'm happy he's succeeding,
I,
but I
I, I
don't like
wake
it
up
that he
in
does it
full
against the
sweat.
Phillies and the Red
Listen,
Sox.
I, I hope he does well. I really like when he's doing well. He reminds me of my beloved Big Poppy David Ortiz. I just wish he would stop picking on us, man. This guy is like Babe Ruth, prime Babe Ruth against the Red Sox.
I respect my enemy. All right, he was prime Babe Ruth against you. He was prime Babe Ruth. He was prime Barry Bonds against the Phillies in the 22 series. How do you think I feel about that?
Yeah,
He
he is.
owns he owns Jose Alvarado, that steroid abuser.
Get that man healthy, and he'll hit 50 bombs in a year. No question about it, in my mind.
Oh yeah.
Um, just to close things out here, Max, a little bit of a conversation here about how the season so far has affected your outlook on the playoffs and larger than that on the World Series. Do you have any sort of people that have fallen in your rankings or anybody that's sort of come up as we've been talking, as we've looked at the records, where you say, you know what, this is a potential playoff team where nobody else really thought they would be, and or this could be a potential World Series winning team.
I do. You're not gonna like my answer though, but I do.
Okay.
The Red Sox ain't making the playoffs, man. Sell the team. What are you doing? What's Craig Breslow? I'm sorry. This is where I gotta do it. I'm sorry. They're not looking ideal. Caleb Durbin looks like he can't field in his life. It looks like they're taking the Bill Buckner school of fielding. Uh, I thought I'd get more reaction, but with jokes, you.
I'm not gonna react because I kind of agree with you.
Oh, okay. Roman Anthony's arm. I think you have a better arm than Roman Anthony right now. I have a better arm. We all have a better arm than Roman Anthony right now. I don't know what he's doing out there. I do like what Contreras was doing. I think like that was fun. But Sonny Gray pitched a shutout today, so not looking bad. Garrett Crochet also looking great. I still believe in Ranger Suarez. All right, I still believe he can pick it up. This is not the Ranger I know. You have him now. He's your responsibility. We gave you the custody papers, and now you're doing something to him, and I don't like it. There's some bit of a struggle there. Bullpen is not looking ideal. Brian Bayo is not looking great too much as well. Whitlock is fine. There's other guys in the bullpen that I just don't trust. Chapman is fine. But it's this defense again, and it's this. We've seen this. We've seen this story play out for the past 3 years. It's the defense and it's the bullpen. That's what we got so far. Um, I think in terms of the National League, I kind of see the Marlins sneaking into a playoff spot now. I had them at fourth, but I see them sneaking into a playoff spot just based on these vibes alone. Just based on the vibes. I think one of the things that I just pointed out, and they just showed it earlier, the Reds Marlins game, is they have the like their home run celebration is like when you go to like a club and it's like, oh, it's like a sign like, hey, this person showed up and so forth. They got some really fun vibes to that team. I think everyone in Miami is having fun. Griffith Kodine is actually starting off the season pretty well with a 3.44 average, so he's looking really good. Um, I don't think the Reds will win that division, but I do think that the Reds are going to still play in that playoff, so I'm still strong in that belief. Um, and it's tough to say. I mean, Dodgers are still going to win that division. I feel like with second place, I'm still pretty firm that the Giants are going to get that spot eventually because I just don't see the Diamondbacks overall this year being better than them, and I just don't see the Padres. I mean, Nick Pivetta looked great, and some other guys were looking great, but I just don't see that being sustainable. That's just my gut reaction. Fire off the hit. Sorry about the Red Sox rant for you, but I thought that'd be kind of fun. But those are just my gut reactions for what the team's looking like right now.
Yeah, I think my gut feeling right now is quite honestly one of general confusion. Some of the teams that were supposed to be bad are kind of good. Some of the teams that were supposed to be good are kind of bad. I want to largely talk about the Blue Jays. I sort of expected a regression to the mean for them in a lot of ways. I, I don't want to say this team could miss the playoffs, but I think it's a possibility that needs to be considered. I think the Red Sox get better. The Rays and Orioles sort of stay where they are, and this team could very easily be sort of the odd man out, largely because of their pitching. I think outside of Dylan Cease, there's and Kevin Gaussman, I don't think there's anybody on that team that's particularly performed all that well on the pitching side of things. With and let's not discount the fact that they're without Bo Bichette as well. He was a major cog in their offense last year, and ultimately I don't really see the same sort of performance from this lineup overall. So this team could end up being closer to 500 than I think a lot of people are expecting, and I'm not sorry for saying it. Now, on the other side of things, I, I just want to make a quick apology to the Cincinnati Reds because I think I had them sort of finishing in the middle of the pack. But I think this could be a good team. This could be a really good team. I think some of the younger players take a step forward. Some of the veterans sort of stay where they are, and this could be a top to bottom good lineup and a top to bottom good pitching staff, despite where they pitch. So those are two teams that I'm very interested in. As for like a World Series pick, one team that I hadn't really given much consideration for a World Series, but the more I think about it, the more it could come to fruition. The Atlanta Braves. I know you hate saying that, or I know you hate hearing that, but Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez both have looked good so far this year. And they got Robert Suarez at the back end of their rotation or their bullpen. Their lineup looks really good, both on paper and in practice. I mean, the Dominator Dom Smith has been lighting it up a little bit as well, even. But outside of that, we mentioned Drake Baldwin, Acuna. Um, Albies is looking sort of back to his old self. Matt Olson's been great. Michael Harris, I think, is going to have a pretty big year, all things considered. So this could be a very intriguing team, and I think they could pull a Blue Jays sort of a la last year, and maybe go on a run at the right time and end up playing for the Commissioner's Trophy. All right. Anything else to add, Max?
Baseball's still the best. I love baseball. Let's go Phillies. We're still gonna win that division. There's a 1% chance to me that we will win the World Series. There's a 90% chance to me that we make the playoffs. There's a 10% chance that, or 8, 9, 10% chance that I ain't seeing baseball in October for the Phillies, but that's just my gut instinct. But let's go baseball. Baseball's the best. I would like to see another MLB brawl at some point this year because that really gets me going.
I'm sure we will. It's been too chippy for there not to be. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, another successful episode, Max, in the books. Starting to rack up the numbers now, but thank you all very much for watching. This is the fourth episode of the Baseball FM podcast, and I just want to say I appreciate all those who have been tuning in and listening, and we will try to get some interviews and some more fun content, add a little bit more production value to the overall um, process. Right now, we're just working on consistency. Right now, we're working on talking ball, as Max and I both love to do, preferably over some libations, perhaps in the future. You know, maybe we get a sponsor or two. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I will happily drink their product on film for a small pittance. And, you know, maybe even acknowledgement. Who knows? But I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. But anyway, thank you all very much for listening, watching. Make sure you leave a like, share it with a friend who loves ball, and without further ado, good night and good baseball.